Blog Talk Radio.
Blog Talk Radio. I'm your host, Edie Summers, and my very special guest tonight is Sonaljit Mukherjee. Sonaljit is a rising star and an independent artist in the genre of New Age music. He released his first New Age album this year on June of 2013. It's called Dreaming the Afterlife. Before I introduce Sonaljit, here is a piano solo from his debut album. It's called Waiting for Love. And you have been listening to Waiting for Love, a piano solo from the debut album by Sonaljit Mukherjee called Dreaming the Afterlife. Sonaljit, I want to thank you for being here today. Are you on the line there? I think I see you there.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, good. How are you?
Good, thank you. I just want to thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to be here today. And Sonaljit, I just wanted to ask you a question. You are a self-taught musician, and
Yes.
I find that fascinating. And I'm just wondering, how did you find music? How did you become a musician?
Well, the thing is that I'm originally from academic background. That is, I did my engineering degree from India. But when it comes to passion, I was influenced to work on music after seeing my dad, because in his time, my dad used to be a singer and a songwriter, and he made quite an attempt to move into the music industry. And I used to watch him work on, with different musicians, composers, and then audio engineers in the studio. And then looking at him working on a music, creating an amazing work of art, which is what propelled me to work on music.
Mm-hmm. And then I also... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm originally a singer.
Right. And I know you're going to be, and you graciously offered later in the show to maybe sing, because your first album, your debut album, is it's instrumental only,
yes.
And it's phenomenal. And I'm so excited because everyone who's listening is going to hear your entire album tonight, which is a really special treat. And then in addition to that, you're also an incredible singer. So. A little bit later, you offered to sing just a little bit for us, so people can actually hear your voice too. But you said that you started out as a singer.
Yeah.
And so also I noticed that you said in your bio that some of your influences are Yanni and Kitaro and Vangelis, and I have to tell you that these are some of the artists that I loved growing up, and I even played on the piano myself, or attempted to anyway. And so I'm wondering, what inspires you about those particular artists? And I think, and Sonaljit is he's calling in again from his landline, I think. So until we have Sonaljit on the phone here, I'm going to read a little bit of his background. Let me see if this is Sonaljit on the phone. Sonaljit, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Oh, hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So
I just got
that's
off
okay.
my Skype, and then I thought to call from my phone. So.
Okay. So we were talking about how you started out as a singer, and so I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, sure.
What was that like for you?
Yeah. So the thing is that so actually I was originally influenced to work on music after seeing my dad, and then when it comes to music, I originally started as a singer. That is when I was in the college days in India. I used to take part in I used to take part in different cultural shows and then music shows, particularly as a vocalist. But later on, I felt the need to add instrumental backing to a certain song, because when you add instrumental backing to a song, you can change its mood, or maybe or even you can change its so even you can increase its melody by yeah.
And also it just evokes what I love about your music is that it evokes so much feeling and so much emotion and so much that I think is so challenging for so many of us to express in other ways, and that's what's so cathartic about music. And then also, I remember we briefly touched on this, but I'm still curious. I remember you reading in your bio that you said some of your influences are Yanni and Kitaro and Vangelis. And I'm wondering. First of all, Yanni alone. Well, Vangelis, for that matter, too. Isn't Vangelis the one who wrote the soundtrack to? I forget the name of that movie now, but anyway, it's a really famous movie. But I'm wondering. Oh, Chariots of Fire. Thank you.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
That is, I heard
Bangalore
that.
won Academy Award for that composition, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, it's an amazing song. Yeah.
And then
in
Yanni,
fact, the
of
first
course.
track that I had, in fact, the first track that I heard from Bangalore was Chariots of Fire.
Wow.
And it felt quite amazing. And then even Yanni's music and then also Kitaro's music. I mean, so thing is that all this music are in fact so much captivating.
Yes.
That I completely fell in love with it, and then I completely fell in. So it's like I was completely captivated by all these compositions, and then and then later on I actually started working on this kind of music, which is called which is called new age music. So
yes.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be playing another track. This is actually the first track off your album, and it's called Dreaming the Afterlife. And this has an amazing story behind it. And so I was wondering if you could share the story behind this next track that's coming up, Dreaming the Afterlife.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. So actually, what happened was this, that I was living in Massachusetts, and I was sharing an apartment with a few of my friends from India. And then, so thing is that one of my friends, his name is Anshuman. He used to say to me that he had, while being asleep, he had experienced many times, what we call as lucid dreaming. And initially, so things that initially when I heard him, initially when I heard him talk about lucid dreaming, so things that I was quite interesting to. So actually, I was quite interested to read about that. So I referred to Google and then different articles on lucid dreaming, and then I came to know is that it's actually a kind of dreaming in which the person knows inside the dream that he's dreaming, or in other words, it's something like waking up inside your own dream. And that's an amazing feeling, and it can be quite fascinating because it actually occurs in a certain phase of the sleep, which is known as REM sleep or rapid eye movement sleep. In this phase of sleep, so it's like in this phase of sleep, the body is paralyzed, but the mind is awake. And what the mind does is that it creates a virtual world, which we know as the dream world. So so the thing is that in those days so it's like I started to practice on lucid dreaming. I won't say I quite mastered the art of lucid dreaming, but in the process, I had some amazing dreams which I could remember clearly. One advantage so things that one advantage of trying to practice lucid dreaming is that you can remember your dreams much more clearly and much more vividly because your brain becomes much more active when you're dreaming than before. So it was one among those dreams that I saw was that I was standing on a hill or maybe on a mountain, and then I was looking into the horizon, and I could see a distant star, and then there was this planet, which is all surrounded by clouds everywhere. And the strange thing about that dream was that I remember saying to myself in my dream that this is the things that I kind of remember saying to myself in my dream that this is something that I'm going to see for real in the afterlife.
Wow.
And then
wow.
So things that and then that star exploded. It is probably some sort of supernova explosion.
Wow.
I don't know because I haven't seen a supernova explosion. Nobody has, but it actually seemed like one. And then I think a few minutes later I woke up. But even after waking up, I was completely captivated by the ambience of the dream. And then as days passed by, I realized that I was attending to. So it's like as days passed by, I realized I was tending the thing is that one day I hello.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So then so thing is that actually one day I thought that I had this amazing dream. Why not make an instrumental composition out of the dream?
Wow.
Or maybe why not compose something with the help of which I can feel the essence of the dream? So I started working on this particular composition called "Dreaming the Afterlife."
And we're going to play that now. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes.
You were going to say something else.
No. I mean, that's it. So pretty much. So actually, this is what happened. This is what actually propelled me towards working on the album. On this. Yes.
Wow, on the whole album. So we're going to play "Dreaming the Afterlife" now, which is the title track off the album, "Dreaming the Afterlife."
Yes.
And just incredibly beautiful. And I love how you talk about waking up inside of a dream, because isn't that kind of how life feels? Like it feels like you're waking up inside of a dream. So hopefully.
Yes.
Here we go. This is "Dreaming the Afterlife."
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. you've been listening to the title track from the album Dreaming the Afterlife, and that is the song Dreaming the Afterlife by Sonaljit Mukherjee. This is his debut album in the New Age category, and I am so grateful to have you here tonight, Sonaljit. And we are next going to be playing A Recall Before Silence, and
yes.
I was wondering if you could share some of the story behind this. And also, this is such a beautiful, as you described, these are your words, I believe, such a beautiful symphonic orchestral flavor. And what I love about your music is that you do these beautiful orchestrations, and it's just so amazing to me that you're self-taught. I would like to know how you do this. But we can maybe get into that later. But and then you also do these piano solos, which we did play one in the beginning, and we're going to play some more. But could you tell us about A Recall Before Silence?
Right. So the thing is that I prefer relating my composition or my music to a certain imagination, a mood, a story, or maybe a dream or a special event that has happened in the past, or just a feeling, like that. So this composition, A Recall Before Silence, so this music is about the thoughts of a person in his deathbed who has lived a life with his friends, his family, and his beloved ones, with whom he had known and loved. And he is awaiting death now. And he knows that his heart is about to stop beating. So anticipating that there is only a little while left before the light gets flipped out, he makes an attempt to recall back the memories of his life involving his family, friends, and well-wishers. So I compose this music in different phases following his feelings prior to his death. And I'm going to describe that next. So it goes, it goes something like this. The sound of rainfall and a feebly beating heart of a man in his deathbed. A blank mind far away from the mundane world, awaiting the eternal silence to come. And then a sudden spark of a sweet memory ignites his senses and urges him to recall. He attempts to unravel the memories from the deepest corners of his mind, including the ones he had known and loved, and slowly the sweet nectar keeps flowing in. And then he is immersed in the ocean of his memories, and he hopes he can live for a little longer to cherish it. But when the time comes to die, when nature calls for our lives, no matter how hard we try, we just can't. So we succumb to the forces of nature. So he feels sudden excruciating pain in his chest, and his brain slowly tends to shut down, and finally the castle of memories he had built in his mind of the ones he had known and loved, that castle completely falls apart, it crumbles down, and the mind goes blank. And in the end, the sound of rainfall fading away, and a feebly beating heart slowing down and down and down, and then the lights out.
Well, that's beautiful.
So that's it. Yeah.
It almost sounds like a poem in itself right there.
Right,
and of course, and your music is just beyond poetry. So we're going to play this track now. It's called A Recall Before Silence. beautiful. Well, even though that may be the end, it was just what a beautiful way to go out, and what a beautiful recall.
Yes,
you've been listening to. I still want to ask you how you do what you do. Maybe I'm just so curious. So the next track that we're going to be playing and is actually inspired by a certain genre of Bengali folk songs. Am I saying that correctly? Bengali?
Yes, you are.
And I was wondering, so it's called River Endless, and then how do you say the original name?
Yeah. It's called Nodi Antohin. So in Bengali, Nodi stands for river, and Antohin stands for endless. So I named the song River Endless. So actually this music is inspired from a certain genre of Bengali folk songs, which are known as Bhatiyali songs. And so these Bhatiyali songs are usually written about the lives of boatmen or fishermen, called Majhi in Bengali. So what happens is this, that these boatmen spend their lives fishing in river waters, and this particular genre of songs usually depict the hardships that they have to face in their lives. And often the lyrics of these songs emphasize on the concern of their beloved ones while they row their boats against the waves and tides, because it's a dangerous work. The word Bhatiyali is actually so the origin of the word Bhatiyali comes from another word called Bhata, which means ebb tide in Bengali. But however, my objective behind this composition was to create. I mean, my objective behind creating this instrumental composition was to give the feeling of a bliss, rather not distress. And for making this music, I kind of imagined myself sitting on a boat in an endless river at night time with ripples passing by one after the other. And then I tried to think of a music that would aptly fit in with such an environment. And then this was the result. So,
and I can just picture you in India. Now, where are you from in India? Are you from what part of India? Oh, okay.
I'm from Kolkata. Yeah.
And so this next track is called, I'm going to say the English version because I'm not sure I can pronounce the Bengali version. River Endless. I'm not even going to attempt it. River Endless. And so here's just another gorgeous track from the album Dreaming the Afterlife. And hang on, let me pull this up here. Let's see. You know what? Actually, I'm so sorry. I'm not sure I have this on here. Okay, we're going to come back to that one for some reason. Oh, here it is. I see it. It's right here. Here's River Endless.
Great.
And you've been listening to the track River Endless from the album Dreaming the Afterlife by Sonaljit Mukherjee. This is his debut album, and we are so blessed to have him in the studio with us tonight. And Sonaljit, I wanted to ask you, you actually have a number of piano solos on your album, including the one that we played at the beginning of the show. That was called Waiting for Love, and that was inspired by your father. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So
could you tell us more about that?
Yeah, sure. Waiting for Love, this music is presented in two different styles in my album. One is a piano solo, and the other one is with a string ensemble, like violins, cellos, and then you also have drums, bass, piano, flute, and acoustic guitar, and some other electronic sounds. So all these sounds were actually played and recorded through my keyboard in my home studio. And the reason for giving a piano solo version is to give a more relaxing feel to the music, because when it comes to new age music, some listeners, it's like some listeners are more kind of so things that, because in new age music, some listeners like kind of rich orchestrations, as in contemporary instrumentals, and then some listeners are more into relaxing solo instrumental music.
Yes, that's true.
So, yeah, this composition is actually influenced from a Bengali song, which is written by my dad many years ago, when he used to be a singer and songwriter, trying to make a move into the Bengali music industry. And so actually the lyrics that he wrote in Bengali, I translated that to English, and I'm saying that here. So it's something like this. She was a woman like any other. She came to me and wrapped me with the aura of her love. For a while it seemed like heaven, but then she was gone, leaving behind pain, anguish, and unanswered questions. But still, to this day, I could not forget her. I saw the light of love in her eyes and thought they would be the guiding stars for the rest of my life. But I was wrong. I looked at her smiles and presumed that they were imbued with affection, but they were just smiles, nothing more. But still, to this day, I could not forget her. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
and your father wrote that, you said?
Yes. Right, yes.
And before we play, so just to be clear with our audience, we first played in the very beginning, that was the piano solo version of Waiting for Love, and now we're actually going to play the orchestrated version of Waiting for Love. But first, Sonaljit, I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about your dad. You said that he also was a singer and musician as well, is that correct?
Yes, yeah. So actually actually the paragraph above is which I just said it's actually an English translation of a romantic Bengali song that was part of his album when he tried to release it in the Bengali music industry. But unfortunately, unfortunately that song never came to life until now in the form of this composition.
Right. Perfect. Well, and here you go. And it's interesting how things play out sometimes, but it did come to life through you. Yes. So here we go. Here is the orchestrated version of Waiting for Love. That's beautiful. And Sonaljit, I am so curious. We're going to be playing another one of your piano solos here. I recall Before Silence, the piano solo version.
Sure.
But I'm very curious. Well, first of all, I'd like to know if you could explain the difference. We kind of talked about this a little bit, but what is the difference or the experience for you between playing an orchestrated version of one of your songs versus playing a stripped-down version?
Right.
And then out of that, I'm curious how you compose.
Okay, yeah. So, well, the orchestrated version is, I mean, so for me, the orchestrated version is actually more kind of energetic, and then, but the piano solo is more about, so actually the piano solo is more about relaxation. Both versions provide kind of the same concept of the same feeling about a particular composition, but in different ways.
And so,
when it comes,
go ahead. Go ahead.
It's okay. You can ask.
Well, when you use the word energetic, do you just mean like more upbeat, or do you mean like a difference actually in energetics? Like, so then this leads to my question of how actually do you compose? Are you consciously? Does it just? I guess this is the question we all want to know for anyone who's self-taught, or at least I want to know. Does the music just come through you? Are you consciously planning it, what you're going to play, or does it just come through you? Or
Right. So the thing is that actually one of my preferences while composing is to provide listeners with a particular tune as part of the song. So it's like it's to provide listeners with a certain tune that they can sing after listening to the music, and especially because I like to do that myself because I was originally a singer. For instance, for example, so it's like there are many different music pieces that contain a lot of instrumental improvisations, but not a particular or not one specific tune. In contrast to that, in contrast to that, there are different songs and instrumentals which contain a certain lead tune which is being played by, say a piano or a flute or a violin or any particular instrument. And then also it has got instrumental accompaniment, and I prefer composing that way.
So I want to make sure I'm understanding what you're saying. Are you saying that did you use the word theme? Like you use a theme? Is that what you mean? Okay, so you have a theme in your head. Is that where the music comes from originally? Is from this theme, and then you build it around that?
Yes.
Ah.
Yes. Yeah. Right. You're right.
Interesting. Okay. Well, that's fascinating. And so then, I'm also curious. There's so many questions I could ask you about this composing, but
sure.
I guess that kind of answers like the basic one because I didn't even know that. So does it come to you all at once? Is it like an inspiration, or is it something slowly that kind of builds or comes to you in pieces, or?
Yeah, I think so in this, I think it kind of slowly builds up. I mean, at first I tried thinking of a certain tune, and then I try to play that tune on the piano, and then I try to think, it's like what other instruments can I add into this tune to make it sound more rich, or with more arranging, or more orchestration. And so it's like, even though I'm particularly inclined towards the piano, but I prefer, it's like I kind of prefer using different instrumental sounds and effects together into one single track, along with the piano. I'm also quite inclined to orchestral string instruments like viola, and then also cello, and then also I'm quite inclined to wind instruments, like flute instruments from,
Because they all
inclination towards symphonic orchestral music, or particularly cinematic orchestral music, and I prefer making my compositions that way.
cinematic orchestral music. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. And so this is very interesting. So then do you actually have like now are you thinking like in terms of, I mean I can absolutely see you composing for movies. That's kind of a no-brainer. But do you actually see like a movie in the background while you're composing as well, or is it more just like that's the energy of it or the feeling of it?
Well, in some cases, I kind of imagine. So it's like So thing is that in some cases I kind of imagine a movie being played or some incident which is happening. Like for instance, in the case of Recall Before Silence, I've imagined a person on his deathbed, and then he's trying to think and then recall back his
Right. So we're gonna play. Now we didn't already play this, did we? We're gonna play. Did we just play the piano solo from Recall Before Silence, or are we gonna do that? I'm so sorry. Did we just play that or no? We just played it, right?
No.
We haven't played it yet. Okay, so we're gonna play.
Right.
So we're going to play a Recall Before Silence now. This is the piano solo version. And is there anything else that you want to add to this? Like anything that you want to add to it before we play this?
Anything as in, yes. So actually this music is more about relaxation, and then, and then the version that you've heard before, it's kind of more kind of energetic, or rather, I think I would say it's kind of more dramatic.
Yes, absolutely. So we're going to play a Recall Before Silence, and I just want to say that I think it's an amazing gift to be able to. So I have one more question really quickly before we play this. How do you know all the instruments? How do you know what instruments to add in? Again, is that just like an instinct, like a gut feeling, or do you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you know to layer all those different types of instruments in?
I think it kind of comes to me by yes. So things that it kind of comes to me by instinct, I think.
Okay.
But also it's based on my experience on listening to so things that I've heard several other different compositions, and then from those compositions I try to improvise. That what does one particular instrument? It's like what does one particular instrument sound like? What are the different articulations of one instrument? Mm-hmm. For instance, the piano, or then the guitars, or the string ensemble for cello and violin and stuff. Mm-hmm. So
So they have like different sounds to them and different intonations and. So I heard you say that. Okay. So the piano, and of course it's instinct, of course, because not everyone can do this. But I heard you say that the piano is your favorite or one of your favorites.
Yes, so things the piano is my favorite. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And so on that note, we're going to play the piano solo of a Recall Before Silence.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful. You've been listening to the piano solo version of A Recall Before Silence. This is from the debut album by Sonaljit Mukherjee, and his album is called Dreaming the Afterlife. You're getting to hear the entire album here tonight, which is a really special treat. And actually, the next track that's coming up is called The Road to Limelight. And Sonaljit, I know that the path of being an artist and a musician can be a challenging one. And
yes,
you're and so I'm wondering, and so your track, The Road to Limelight, explores this journey, and I was wondering if you could tell us more about this song and also the journey of both you and maybe your father as well, if you feel like it.
Yeah, sure. So actually this music has a long history. The origin of this music was, it kind of happened around 4 years ago in 2009, when I was struggling for a job right after my graduation in India. And when I got a job, it felt that all the struggle that I went through during my college years in India it's like all my struggle had finally paid off. And then I thought to make a music that could be able to depict the something like the phase of that struggle for achieving success. And so it's like at first I named it. Things that at first I've named it Darkness and Limelight, and the word limelight represents success or recognition in this context. I added this word particularly after being inspired from one among Charlie Chaplin's classic movies called Limelight. And part of the reason behind adding this word was that somehow I could relate some characters of that movie with my dad, who is a singer who is a singer and songwriter, and he actually so things that he had. So it's like he had to struggle quite a lot to enter into into the Bengali music industry.
Okay.
And then again later on I changed the name to the Road to Limelight, and then I've recorded the instrumental sounds using my keyboard and also with better recording equipments in my home studio.
Wow.
So this music portrays. This music portrays the struggle and pain of an artist, and I made this music in different phases. So at first, there is a realization of creativity and potential, and then comes determination, and eventually the phase of struggle begins. However, not always struggle and success walk hand in hand, and the artist experiences failure, and a phase of depression and hopelessness follow. However, determination gets back in command, and he works even harder. He struggles even harder, and finally, all the hard work and sweat pays off, and he sees success or recognition. Or in this music, he sees limelight. So, yeah.
And it is, and I know I heard you saying that it's not everyone can necessarily understand the sort of the pain and the struggle to when you are such a gifted musician, and especially also I want people to understand that your entire album was produced in your home studio, including the composing, orchestration, recording, and mastering, and you actually did this when you reached the States. Is that correct? You put this all together here. Is that right?
Right. Yes. Yep.
Okay. And just so people understand, I actually think this is impressive too. But you are a graduate student. Is that right? Is it oceanography or?
Yes, I'm a graduate student in oceanography.
Wow.
That's
just so fascinating.
And I had to find out some time out of my studies to make music and then come up with an album. So.
It's an amazing album.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because there's definitely, I mean, I do think that musicians it is a gift to be a musician, and yet to have a background in science and physics too, it can lend to I don't know, there's an intelligence there that I'm sure helps and translates into creating music, or at least I can only imagine. But we are going to now play the track "The Road to Limelight," which depicts this the challenge and the struggle, and also the success, hopefully, that can also come with being an artist, and just the journey of being an artist. So here we go. This is "The Road to Limelight." You've been listening to the album Dreaming the Afterlife by New Age artist Sonaljit Mukherjee, and that was the track The Road to Limelight. And so we have just actually two more tracks here, and also Sonaljit is going to, he's graciously offered to sing a little bit for us as well. So I wanted to ask you, Sonaljit, could you tell us, that was beautiful, by the way, The Road to Limelight, just incredible. And I have to tell you, there was something I was going to ask you, and it has escaped my mind, but maybe it'll come to me before the end of this. But it's interesting because I can hear influence of Yanni, and it's just, he's one of my favorites. So it's just, but of course you are your own artist too. But I love that. It's interesting because I come from a background in literature, and they always say that, you learn how to write by reading other writers, and I can only assume that the same is true here. That of course there's the gift part of it too.
Yeah.
You're all somewhat like that. I think I just remembered my question, and I know it wasn't a question; it was more of just a comment. I know that people might be wondering, because my show is on wellness and health. However, for me, actually, a couple things on that note. I tend to write and work to New Age music a lot. I play the piano myself, and it's one of my favorite categories, and I grew up playing this music, and I just absolutely love it. But I find it very, I heard you saying in another interview, it's very meditative, and I find it very healing and meditative, and it also does help you to process your feelings. And again, kind of what we were talking about earlier, I'm just grateful that you have put your music out there and have the courage and the gifts to put it out there, because it does help other people, and I'm one of those people. So I just wanted to thank you for that, and it's a gift to have it out there. So
sure. Thank you very much.
So the next track is called Colors of the World, and yes, and I was wondering, I think this is a beautiful story. Could you tell us about your inspiring track, Colors of the World? What inspired you to write this?
Right.
Or compose.
So in simple words, I wanted to compose a music to which people can, dance. But when I gave it a thought, it seemed kind of tough, because New Age music is more about relaxation, and so particularly New Age music is more about relaxation and meditation, right? Mm-hmm. So I tried to make a music that, I'm not sure if I succeeded in this, but I tried to make a music that would represent both. Both relaxation or as well as a little bit of dancing. So for this composition, I imagined stage floating in the sky. Performance stage or something, whatever. It's visible from every corner of our planet, and people from different cultural origins in different dresses and costumes are dancing to a music together on that world stage. And I wondered, what would such a music be like, which can aptly, which can just aptly fit into that scenario. So eventually I worked on this, and then I came up with this particular instrumental, which is called Colors of the World. And in order to compose this instrumental, I used a wide variety of plucked board, wind, and also percussion instruments in this music. And I would just like to mention a few ones that I used. So the notable ones are the Japanese plucked instrument called koto, and also I've used Armenian duduk flute, Japanese shakuhachi flute, Indian bansuri flute. Among the plucked instruments, I used European hammered dulcimer and also Indian santur plucked instrument. And among the board instruments, I used the sounds of ensemble violin and also cello. I used electric piano sound and also the sound of bass guitar. And for percussion sounds, I used and then also for percussion sounds, I used the Peruvian cajon, which is the percussion instrument.
Wow.
So I use that instrumental sound for just the basic beat patterns. But for additional percussion, I've used frame drums from India and also from Mongolia. Also, I've used tambourine, shakers, chimes, Australian clapsticks, and stuff.
Wow.
So the thing is that it's like the basic concept behind this composition is that different instruments from different cultural origins all over the world provide colors to this music. Hence the name Colors of the World.
I just love that. And I love that you use instruments from all over the world. And I also love how you mentioned the world stage. I just think it's so important to develop that awareness. I think we all need to develop more of an awareness of, that we're all, here and get to know each other better. Did I say that correctly?
Right.
Get to know one another better, and all the different, the multiculturalism and really. So I'm just grateful.
We are one.
Yes, absolutely.
We are just one. So.
I love that, and it's so true, and I appreciate you saying that. And the more I think about that, and the more I live it, the more I realize that is very true. So. So here is the inspiring track, The Colors of the World. And you've been listening to the track Colors of the World from the album, the debut album, Dreaming the Afterlife by independent artist Sonaljit Mukherjee. Excuse me. And so Sonaljit, I just wanted to, I know that you started as a singer, and you graciously offered, or agreed, I should say you didn't offer, you agreed to sing a few notes for us tonight, and I'm wondering if you're still up for that.
Yeah, all right. So thing is, I haven't practiced vocals in a long time, but I'll give it a try. So yeah, okay. So there's this song by John Denver, which I would like to sing. Hello, can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, I can hear.
Okay. Yeah. Great. All my bags are packed. I'm ready to go. I'm standing here outside your door. I hate to wake you up to say goodbye. The dawn is breaking, it's early morn. The taxi's waiting, it's blowing home. Already I feel so lonesome I could die. So kiss me and smile for me. Tell me that you wait for me. Hold me like you'll never let me go. 'Cause I'm leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. Oh, babe, I hate to go. There's so many times I've let you down. So many times I've played around. I tell you now, they don't mean a thing. Every place I go, I'll think of you. Every song I sing, I'll sing for you. When I come back, I'll bring you a wedding ring. So kiss me and smile for me. Tell me that you wait for me. Hold me like you'll never let me go. 'Cause I'm leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. Oh, babe, I hate to go. 'Cause I'm leaving on a jet plane. Don't know when I'll be back again. Oh, babe, I hate to go. Yes, thank you.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much. What a treat. Thank you so much for doing that. And people can also, hope it's okay, I mentioned this, you have covers on your, like on YouTube, and you cover U2 and all sorts of people. And I heard another cover, like, is it from a traditional Indian song, or I'm not sure. But anyway, you do other covers too. So your voice is incredible. So just what an incredible combination to be able to sing and also
thank you very much.
Compose. So thank you so much. Well, I just wanted to thank you so much, Sonaljit, for sharing your gifts with us tonight. And if people wanted to buy your albums, where would they go?
Yes. Oh, sure. So the thing is, my album is currently available on a CD Baby, and also if you search my name on iTunes, then also you'll get my album, and also Amazon.com.
Amazon.com. Okay, great. So I just wanted to thank you again for being here tonight, and I just wanted to wish you the best on your continuing journey. And on that note, thank you. It's just been an honor to have you here, and I know that I've thoroughly enjoyed the show, and I know that other people will too. And just what a treat to share your album with us, your debut album, and also your voice. And so we're going to end the show with the piano solo version of The Road to Limelight, which I think is very fitting. And so thanks again, and I will talk to you later. So everyone, you've been listening to The Wellness Coach on Blog Talk Radio. Thanks for tuning in, and take care. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.